What is up, YouTube? AVI back in another video. Today we have a really cool review for you. This is my 2004 F-150 Lightning. I know you guys have been seeing it on the channel, but I've never done a full complete review with interior, exterior, driving impressions, engine bay, all that good stuff. So it's getting a little cold here, so we figure let's do it before the end of the year, and yeah, let's get to the review. So for those of you guys that are not familiar with the F-150 Lightning, SVT, which is Special Vehicle Team, a specific division within Ford, started making performance versions of their car. This is the F-150 based on the F-150 platform. Obviously, it's a truck. And SVT kind of revamped the engine. They put a supercharger on it, and they made limited production of a lot of SVT models. Other SVT cars that were worked on is obviously the 4GT, the holy grail of SVT. We have the SVT Focus, F-150, SVT Cobra, which is built on the Mustang. You guys have seen that on our channel as well. But I really like this truck. It was featured in Fast and the Furious, the first Fast and the Furious. Paul Walker actually drove it, so as a kid, I really began to love and appreciate this truck. But yeah, let's get to why this vehicle is so special. Besides just the visual stuff, we'll show you guys the most important part. The 5.4 liter supercharged V8, producing 380 horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque. And that's a little bit, those numbers are up a little bit from the 2002 and older model. So they made this is the Gen 2 Lightning, the second time they've done the Lightning. The Gen 2 Lightning started on 1999 and went all the way to 2004. This is the final year, 2004, which was actually called the Lightning Heritage Edition, because they did not make this F-150 body style in 2004. They stopped it in 2003. So as I was talking about horsepower numbers, this Lightning has 380 horsepower. The earlier years to this Gen 2 Lightning had 360 horsepower, so those final 2 years got the additional 20 horsepower bump and changes to gearing and things like that. So actually the 0 to 60 on the older models for Gen 2 were a little bit faster as well, almost by a whole second. So let's continue on. In the front grille, you have linear slits here. The earlier model years of this gen had honeycomb grille here. I'll put a picture right here for you guys to see the difference. That slits were continued on to the bottom, making it look that I think is pretty timeless. I think even almost 20 years later, and I still think it looks pretty modern for the times. Coming on here, we have huge headlights, which are taken directly from the F-150, as well as fog lights at the bottom there. Coming on to the side, we have SVT specific wheels, and these are some big boys here. These are 295 tires in the front and rear, 18-inch wheels with SVT specific rims here. So these rims are only available on the Lightning. They did change the looks of the rims in 2003 and 2004, which come with these. Coming along the side, this is where you normally see an F-150 badge, but instead, obviously, we have a Lightning specific badge, which is pretty iconic. Even to today. As the new Lightning came out this year, electric Lightning, this badge was a little bit similar, but instead of the Lightning bar across, they had the Lightning, I believe, with the eye. So let us know which logo you guys like better. Coming onto the side, one of the most telltale signs of the Lightning is that dual side exhaust, which comes only out of the passenger side. That is not something that you can get on a normal F-150, but instead just the Lightning. Step side, which makes it very easy to get in and out of the bed. And the bed is a 6.5 foot bed, which is a great size, so it's definitely still usable if you're looking for a normal truck. These are beginning to get more collectible, so having a lot of stuff in the bed is not ideal if you're looking to save the value of your truck going forward. Coming on to the back now. These taillights were very controversial, when first released. Like I said, there are some visual differences between the early years of Gen 2 and the later years of Gen 2. The later years of Gen 2 received this clear lens, and the early years were red covered rather than clear. Coming onto the back now, we do have the one option of the Ford Lightning, and there was no options except for this one thing, which is the tow hitch. A lot of people didn't really want to tow, and I think maybe one day I'll remove it as a video idea, so make sure to subscribe and see that if you guys are looking to do that. We do have the Ford badge in the bottom right of the tailgate, as well as a different F-150 badge. It says SVT F-150 to kind of distinguish that from a normal F-150. So A lot of visual differences between the normal F-150 and the SVT F-150, as well as some power increases. But let's now get on to the inside to show you guys what's different and cool in there. Let's do it. All right, guys, so we are inside the interior of the F-150 Lightning, SVT Lightning, I should say, now with the new model already out with the electric. First thing to know is it's very basic in here. It's typical early 2000s Ford interior here. You have very simple radio controls with just presets, 6 presets. You do have a CD disc and very basic, very basic controls here, as well as very basic temperature controls. So you have low, high, low all the way to high. And you would think that this is how you would turn off the AC, but no, actually the off AC is on this where it has directional air conditioning. So very basic there. Coming onto the center screen here, you do have SVT specific gauges, which I love, with a little bit of green. I've been in the interior of SVT Cobras, and these gauges are completely different and way more green than these. So it is slightly different. You would think that they would share some parts of the same, both being SVTs of about the same year, but they are completely different, which is very nice. You do have boost PSI for the supercharger over there, and your temperature gauge, gas, and oil temperature. Over here, this is what controls your headlights. So you could turn them off here and then on. And if you pull this out, you'll see fog lights, which come standard on the Lightning. This button right here increases and decreases the greenness of your gauges. So obviously more green and less green the more you turn it up. Steering wheel is very basic, has your simple forward. So this steering wheel is a little bit different on the 2003 and 2004 Lightning. There is dot leather rather than just wrapped leather on the earlier Lightnings. If you guys have not seen our differences in between 2004 and 1999 Lightning, click up there. There'll be a video right there linked. Here are the seats. They do have SVT built into the seats, is my favorite part, as well as you have Alcantara on the sides with leather interior with Alcantara going across. The only issue that I've seen complaints is that this Alcantara, as you can see, wears pretty easily. This car only has 37,000 miles, and this seat is already decently worn, especially you see cars with 100,000 miles and higher. This whole thing is looks like this wear and tear right here. Center, you do have option for third seat, just like this, and if you pull this down, you do have a cup holder with some storage. There's some fuel stabilizer, which we'll be getting to in another video. But other than that, it's very basic. This is another thing added for the newer model years, temperature and direction, as well as some storage up top that is added for, I believe, 2002 and newer, which was not existing on the F-150 early Gen 2 Lightnings. So very basic interior, but now we'll show you guys some driving impressions. All right, guys, we noticed that the supercharger whine is not that loud from the exterior, but we wanted to show you guys the supercharger whine interior and hear how much different it sounds in the interior. As you can hear, a lot more supercharger whine in the interior rather than the exterior. All right, heading out with the F-150 Lightning. As I mentioned, this truck has 380 horsepower, 450 pound-feet of torque for the 2003 and 2004 model years. A couple of things to note: it definitely handles like a truck. If you're looking for super stiff suspension with a lot of power, this will have a good amount of power for you, but it does not have, it has a truck suspension with all said and done. It's a little bit tightened up by SVT to make it a little more sporty, but it definitely still handles and feels like a truck while you're driving. With that 450 pound-feet of torque, you do get a good amount of pull when accelerating. It's only a 4-speed auto, so you do get that initial pull, like that torque feel for those of you that are used to driving a truck. We'll start by view. View out the sides is great, and view out the back is great. It's a truck, so there is no, super big blind spots. The mirrors are huge on the sides and definitely offer great visibility. View out the front, you would think would be a little bit worse, having such a big engine, but actually the hood is the exact same as a normal F-150, so it's great visibility out of the front as well. We'll go on to the highway now, because I know what you guys all want. So we'll show you guys how it gets up to speed. As you can see, with cold tires, with a lot of power and no weight in the back, it does get away from you pretty quickly if you're not careful. It'll definitely slip away, fishtail a little bit, but it's very easy to control. You feel like you have a lot of control, unlike some of the other low to the ground Mustangs, which are much easier to get out of control. Now we'll get on to cruising speed here and see how it does. From a dig. So lots of supercharger noise, especially down low in those lower RPMs. Coming onto highway speed, it's very easy to get up to highway speed coming on an on-ramp. I love the way the power builds. The supercharger will keep pulling and pulling and pulling all the way. One complaint that I have is if you're going about 60 and you're looking to push it a little bit, it is a little bit limited, and I believe that's due to the 4-speed auto that this truck has. We do have overdrive, which will prevent you, it will pull harder, but it will prevent you from going into the upper gears. I would not recommend using it for normal everyday driving. You do get tons of looks in it. It's a red truck. I think if it was black or white like the other colors, it would definitely get less looks. But if you're looking for something that is a little bit more low-key, I wouldn't get red. But other things to know, handling I did mention a little bit. It's a little bit floaty like a truck would be. But I love the supercharger on it. It's just so easy to get, so easy to hear it, and so easy to get it, between 3,000 and 4,000 RPMs about to really kick in. The driving position is very unique. You do sit up high. Obviously, you're in a truck, so you do feel like you're the king of the road in this truck. Definitely one perk. You don't feel super low. It's very easy to get in and out of, and it's honestly the perfect truck for someone that wants power, that doesn't really want to struggle getting in and out, and you still can haul stuff in your 6.5-foot bed behind you. All right, speaking of gas mileage, while we're at a stoplight, this truck will get 11 miles per gallon city and 15 highway. So if you're looking for a great everyday driver, this is probably not for you unless you want to spend tons of money on gas. But I personally love it. It's not meant to get good with gas mileage. It's meant to be cool and something a little under the radar. Continuing on with the gas mileage, it is a 25-gallon tank, so it's a huge tank, so you will not have to get gas that often if you don't drive it that much. And if we are actually going to be winterizing this truck, and we'll show you guys all the steps to do that. So if you guys are looking to winterize your classic car or just your car in general, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for that video. Well, let's now go on to our final thoughts of the F-150 Lightning. See you there. All right, what are my final thoughts on the 2004 SVT F-150 Lightning Heritage Edition, all those extra words? What do I think about the Gen 2 Lightning? I obviously love it. I own one, so my views might be a little bit biased, but trying to look at it from a non-biased perspective, I think these cars will hopefully increase in value. I think it's ahead of its time. Not a lot of people were throwing big engines in trucks and making limited productions. This truck was limited to about 4,000 total for year 2004, and a little bit higher in the previous year. So probably 20,000 total Gen 2 Lightning. So I definitely think it's an icon. I think if you're looking for an everyday truck to actually use, this is not the truck for you. If you're looking for something to fun, get a little bit squirrely on the roads with, this is definitely great. With, like we said in the driving impression, no weight in the back, so it makes it a fun driver. But if you're looking for a great gas mileage for a car, definitely not consider it. But I personally love it. It's something that I've wanted since I was young. So if you guys are looking for something more of an icon, I would say maybe consider the Lightning. Please subscribe and support us if you guys enjoyed the video. We have a lot of content coming for you this year, and thank you for the continued support to our subscribers. And just like that, AVI out.